He's here.
Huh?
Pressing.
Or asked me to do it.
We delegate what we know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you guys will be here.
Sneaks on anybody.
All right, we'll do it. See you.
Oh, yeah.
It's one run left.
Yeah.
10:00. I'd like to call this meeting of the Rusk County Commissioners Court to order. Today is October the 5th. It's 10 a.m. I'd like to ask Grant Davis to lead us in prayer. Please remain standing for the pledge.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we just thank you for this day. Thank you for the beautiful weather. Thank you for letting us all be here today. We ask we have a productive meeting and bless our leaders. Bless us all with good health and bless us throughout the rest of the week. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We're missing two commissioners this morning they had some family commitments that were not able to. They had to be out of court anyway. Number one, discuss possibly approve budget amendments and our transfers.
Motion for approval.
Second, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 2, to approve the October 5th, 2020 employee payroll.
Motion for approval.
Have a motion from Mr. Kirkendall.
Second.
Second from Mr. Gibson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Number 3, discuss possibly approve the purchase of property by HITCO. Mr. John Clary, how are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me today and having this on your agenda. This represents step 2 in a puzzle that we're putting together out on the north side of town. I was here a couple of months ago when we were meeting upstairs, and for the first piece of it, when we purchased the offered tract, which was 225 acres outside the loop. We have reached an agreement with the Richardson family to purchase some additional land, 68.024 acres to be exact. It's at the corner of 2276 in the loop, outside the loop. We'll have both corners of 2276 in the loop, outside the loop. We are, we still got another couple puzzle pieces to put in place, but as I mentioned last time I was here, state law for economic development corporations requires us to get approval of the governing body that would be overseeing that territory that we're buying. And in this case, it's outside the city limits, so that would be the county commissioner's court. And so today I'm asking you all for approval to allow us to carry on and finish the purchase of this property.
They intend in the future to take that into the city limits or not?
I have had conversations with the city manager and the mayor about doing that. Right now, this property is not contiguous to other property that the city has. I have suggested to them that I think a pathway to that would be for the city to acquire or take into the city limits Bradshaw State Jail, which is across the highway from this. But there's also a unintended consequence that happened at the last legislative session, which I'm going to mess this up because I don't quite understand all the details, but as I understand it, anytime a city jumps over a highway, TxDOT also has to approve that, and TxDOT's refusing to do that. So that's going to have to go back to the state legislature next session and fix that. Hopefully I got that right.
Okay.
So anyway, that won't be an immediate thing, but I would say that it would be in the future.
I assume you talked to Senator Hughes and Travis Clark
About
that.
Jay has. I know Jay Abercrombie has. I have not.
All right. I'd make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkendall. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, John.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, discuss possibly approve the appointment of Wayne Griffith to the ESD Board representing Commissioner at Large. Wayne,
Hello.
you're gonna be on the ESD Board.
That's what they do.
Anything you'd like to say, Ms. Dooley?
I'm just thrilled that we're finally gonna have a full board after almost a year of having
Yeah.
a vacancy.
Wayne, we appreciate you doing that.
We really do.
We need to swear him in.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got Wayne, come right up here. if you will.
Yes, sir.
I, Wayne Griffith,
I, Wayne Griffith,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Rusk County Emergency Services District Commissioner at Large
the duties and services of Rusk County Emergency Services District at large.
Added too much in it. Of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Bandy did it. Did Bandy make it sign? We'll sign it here in a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
And Wayne, I'll repeat, we're so happy you've agreed to serve. And that is a important organization in this county and protecting the citizens of this county. So thank you a lot.
Yes, sir.
There was a little correction need to be made on there and she's getting that done.
I'll
All right.
make a motion.
All right. Motion for Mr. Gibson to approve.
Second.
Second for Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Number 5, discuss for approval the nomination of Commissioner Robert Kirkendall for David Burks to serve on the ESD board representing precinct 2. I'm gonna let Robert swear you in. Say what you might do. It's smart if I'd have done it. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, is swapping the precinct.
Yeah.
All right, David. I, David Burks, do solemnly swear
I, David Burke, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Rusk County Emergency Services Precinct 2
of the office of Rusk County Emergency Services Precinct 2
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
and will to the best of my ability to preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
Got a little correction. We'll let you sign it here in just a second. Just got a little correction. You'll make that motion.
I move that we approve the nomination of Mr. Burks on the ESD board.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 6, discuss possibly approve the proclamation declaring October 4 through 10, 2020 as National 4-H Week in Texas and commend the 4-H youth development. Mr. Davis, your young people gonna come up?
Yes, they are. Copy that proclamation. How's the court today?
Good. Very well in you.
So this week is National 4-H Week, and I have brought 3 of Rusk County 4-H's finest to read this proclamation so that I don't have to. And they all serve, each one of them as state 4-H ambassadors in respective projects, and they've been in 4-H a long time, so I thought they were up to this task.
I think they probably are.
The National 4-H Proclamation. Whereas the Rusk County Commissioners Court is proud to honor the 4-H development program of the Texas A&M Agriculture Life Extension Service for 113 years of providing experience-based education to youngsters throughout the Lone Star State. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for a whole child, including head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society.
And whereas it's more than 550,000 urban, suburban, and rural youth participants ranging in age from 8 to 19, hail from diverse ethnic and social and economic backgrounds and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today were it not for the service of its more than 22,000 volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources to the youth of Texas.
And whereas throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans, and through its innovative and inspiring programs, continues to build character and to instill the values that have made our state strong and great. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Rusk County Commissioners Court hereby designate October 4th through 10th, 2020 as National 4-H Week in Texas, and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of the 4-H A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the many men and women who made their program a success.
Is that it, Grant?
That's it. Very good. I'll make a motion to go through.
Second.
Motion for Mr. Gibson, second for Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank y'all for coming. Now, what were all their names?
Oh, Sarah Beth Britton, Hannah Parrott, and Dawson McKee. Sorry.
Let's see, Sarah Beth and Hannah, y'all are getting your Lone Star or
Gold Star.
Gold Star for tomorrow night, aren't you?
Yes,
All right, well, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
That took a lot of work. All right. All right. Number 7, discuss and possibly approve a proclamation declaring the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month 2020. Anybody here? You got that resolution?
Yes.
Sarah Beth, you want to read this one?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. Any of y'all could have done it, because y'all all did well.
The Domestic Violence Awareness Month 2020 proclamation. Whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy and dignity, security, and humanity due to systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse, including abuse to children and the elderly. Whereas the problem of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but cut across all economic, racial, societal barriers, and are supported by societal indifferences. And whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals and society as a whole here in this community, throughout the United States and the world. And whereas the Women's Center of East Texas is focused on ending violence by providing safe haven, crisis intervention, and comprehensive support services to victims of domestic violence. And whereas survivors of domestic violence themselves have been at the forefront of efforts to bring peace and equality to the home. Now, therefore, in recognition of the important work done by domestic violence programs, I do hereby proclaim the month of October 2020 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and to urge all citizens to actively participate in the scheduled activities and programs to work towards eradicating domestic violence, improving victim safety, and holding predators of domestic violence abuse accountable for their actions against individual victims and our society as a whole.
Thanks, Sarah Beth.
for approval.
Motion for approval, Mr. Gibson,
Second.
second for Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 8, discuss and possibly approve to allow Sheriff Jeff Price to fill the positions in the jail and patrol deputies. Go ahead, Sheriff.
Morning.
Morning.
I've got 3 positions in the jail right now, and I think I've got 4 or 5. And deputies, plus I've got 2 more that are probably fixing to leave.
Yeah, 4 at least.
So my patrol division is getting very thin right now.
Okay. Well, in the email I sent you the other day, I reiterated the fact that our hiring freeze was not an intent to keep the safety of this county or do anything about that would be a detriment to the safety of this county, so, and the citizens.
It's only been about the last week or 2 that I've actually gotten any applications in.
Yeah.
That's one of the other problems that everybody's having. Don't have anybody out. That's why everybody's stealing from everybody else.
Yeah.
There's nobody out there looking for work to get into this line of work.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkendall. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Number 9, discuss possibly approve the enclosed list as surplus for the 2020 gun auction from the Rusk County Sheriff's Office. Anything you want to say about that, Sheriff?
This should be the last purge. And that should get rid of all of the excess out of the property room on this one, and then get rid of all of my fleet that we have decommissioned. We'll be able to get rid of all of them. And there should actually be 2 different auctions. One of them will be the firearms auction. The other one will actually be for the vehicles and the other surplus items.
And they have to be a licensed gun dealer.
You have to be a licensed gun dealer to even get a bidder number to be able to bid on it. And they have to have your license on file with Dale down at Auctioneer Express. And once you file your license, they actually go back through ATF to verify that your license is valid and that there is no problems with your license before they'll even issue you a bidder number to be able to bid.
Okay.
And he does, whenever, whoever wins the auction, when they come up to claim them, we actually run a criminal history and everything on them before we will allow them to pick up the weapons, and it's stated in the paperwork from the auction company that they will have full criminal histories run before we'll release the weapons to them to make sure that they can legally have them, so.
All right.
Make a motion for approval.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, number 10. Discuss possible approve to be able to use a credit card machine at the Rusk County Youth Expo Center.
Judge, how y'all?
Good.
What do you want to use this for?
To take in fees. So as you know, we have RV spots out there, and we take fees for when people stall horses there. Just this weekend, we have over $250 in fees for that. I would prefer if someone wants an RV spot that they pay beforehand. That way they could pay me during the week when they call to reserve it, rather than my attendants having to handle more cash. Whoever is using the credit card would pay the fee. Ron Franks updated his credit card system earlier this year sometime. So he has given me his little old setup. It would go into the same account, I believe. And all we would do is we would just have to type in, Expo and what it was for. And whenever it showed up on the books for the treasurer or the auditor, they would know it was our money.
So the credit card fee would be paid by the individual, not by the county.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's 3 point 2% or something like that. I don't anticipate my larger rents, building rents, really being used because, you know, that's anywhere from $200 to $1,000 or more. So I don't anticipate them using a credit card for that, even though I have been asked in the past if they could. I'm really expecting it for my smaller fees. But it'd be handy.
Are those,
And I don't have to pay for the equipment because Ron gave it to me.
when you're talking about transaction fees, there's percentage and then there's so much per transaction.
To my knowledge, it's just a 3.52.
Which card is that? I mean,
It's through the same system that the airport uses still.
This slide,
The SWAT
it's, Square.
Square,
Yeah.
Square, okay.
And he has like an iPad and everything, and you just get in and, so they use it, but it's slower, and so that's why Ron had to upgrade his. But it's perfect for these, maybe a few times a week, heavy days on busy days, but it's not gonna be used every single day like Ron.
Bottom line is, it's not gonna impact the money we get. That's strictly on their end, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It wouldn't, that's why I would charge them, and it would be stated that they would have this, you know, this amount of fee, you
Right.
know, for this amount of transaction and whatnot. We definitely pass that on to whoever wanted to use it. Otherwise, they could use cash as.
Just like they do at the county clerk's office and across the street tax office. Okay,
I make a motion for approval.
second from Mr. Gibson, motion by Mr. Kirkendall, all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
All
Commissioner.
those opposed? Thank you, Jen. Number 11, discuss possibly approve to adjust the closing time for Rusk County Library branch. Is that supposed to be branches?
No, just one,
Just one, okay.
just our Henderson location.
All right,
So the current hours that they close are a little sporadic through the week, and we just want to make this change to make it a little bit more consistent so that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's the same closing hour, Tuesday, Thursday, it's the same closing hour.
okay. What are those?
So currently, or the current or the proposed, or both.
Proposed.
So the proposed would be 8:30 to 5:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 to 7 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Any questions on that? I'd make that motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkendall. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 12, discuss and possibly approve the county indigent health care program end of year report. Who's gonna say something on that? Anybody?
Tammy's one who, she did it and turned it in.
Yeah, all right. Does anything need to be said on there?
Yes, sir.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I move we approve the report.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Number 13, discuss possibly approve to accept the COVID-19 election response grant award from the Center for Tech and Civic Life. Kate? How are you, Ms. Smith?
Good, how are you guys? This is the same grant that I brought up in public comment last week. We have been awarded $34,497, and this grant does not require any matching. We previously approved the 2020 HAVA CARES grant through the Secretary of State, and that award was about $60,000. And I was using my Chapter 19 state funding. It was about $10,000 of my state funding as the match for that. This grant would cover the same categories and a few additional categories that the CARES grant does not. And so I'm hoping if this could be approved, we could reallocate some of the expenses that we've had to this grant. And that way, once all of the reporting periods close, my state funding would be returned back to us. And that's what we use to purchase voter registration forms, voter registration cards, things like that.
Questions on that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Gibson, second from Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Kate. Good job you done. I know it's been difficult. 14, discuss possible approve the following utility pipeline request. KJECO LLC proposes to place 2 pipelines, one an 8-inch steel fusion and one parallel 3-inch steel fusion bond coated pipeline by directional bore under named county road at a location shown on the attached county map. That's County Road 366.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Mr. Gibson,
Second.
second from Mr. Kirkendall. B, East Texas Telephone proposes to place a fiber optic cable under across the right of way of County Road 402 in Precinct 4. And they also want to do one, East Texas Telephone, right of way of County Road 416.
I've talked to Mr. Whitworth and approved both B and C.
All right. Motion from Mr. Gibson,
Second.
second from Mr. Kirkendall. And then lastly, Good Springs Water Supply Corporation proposes to place a 4-inch water main under across along within the right of way of County Roads 195, 4196, 4192D, 4187, 414, County Road 411D, County Road 411D2. That's all I'm saying for.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Mr. Gibson,
Second.
second from Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Public comment, no action to be taken. Yes.
There was a concern voiced about an event we have coming up, and I just wanted to address it. So we have a Harvest Festival, is what the name of it is, here in a couple of weeks coming up. It's actually a live show. It is the Longview equivalent to what our Rusk County Youth Project show is. They were worried because we canceled the Syrup Festival and some other events, but we're having this. I wanted to just publicly let it be known. It's not a festival. It is a livestock jackpot show, and they have rented the whole facility. So they will still be, they won't even reach their 25%, much less 50. As well as they're taking measures to increase social distance. They're having certain shows at certain times. They're spread out from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. over 4 days. So, and they're not letting most of their animals stay overnight. So that keeps kids from coming up there daily to feed and water animals. They're gonna, at check-in, they are gonna screen their students. They're going, well, I'm gonna put signage up that recommends mask wearing, and they're gonna recommend it as one of their protocols for all their participants, as well as they're gonna set up sanitizing stations at every entrance. So I just wanted to let that be known.
Jennifer, appreciate the work you've done
Yes, sir.
to try to address all this. Any questions for Jennifer about that? All right.
Thank you.
Sheriff, anything you want to tell us?
We're making do with what we've got and trying to hire more people right now.
Okay. What about see Judge McCrory yesterday, and he is doing better. He's still going through rehab, and he hopes to be back at work maybe next week. but he had a little scare and with a brain bleed, caused a stroke, and he's recovered, but he's a gamer. He's not gonna let it keep him down. County's received in the emergency management department, when Mr. Pike told me about 100,000 masks, and he is going to contact the churches in Rusk County and see how many of them would like to use some of those masks or have some of those masks, which I think is a good thing to do with them. Mr. Poole, you got anything you'd like to tell us?
Life's kicking along just good.
Mr. Vincent, health fairs tomorrow,
Health fair starting at 6 a.m.
6 a.m. in the morning.
6 a.m.
All right. Anybody else?
Andy, I was reading my email, excuse me, somebody say something.
I was just gonna say, today's the voter registration deadline, so if you know anyone who's not registered to vote, send them our way today, or have a card postmarked by 5 p.m.
All right.
Andy, I was gonna ask you on the blood drive, is that something that's also, that anybody in the public's welcome to come out to?
Yes, public's welcome. Also, probably be advisable to get on their website and make yeah, but it's from 7 to 11. It's gonna run a little longer than the health fair.
Is that just for tomorrow? Is it-
It's just the one day, they couldn't commit to 2 days. But, yeah, I'd like to encourage everybody to do that.
Anything else? Mr. Brett, we'll expect to see you there. Excuse me, Dr. Brett. All right, approved payment of bills.
There is one thing about the blood drive. If you donate blood, they're actually doing a test for COVID to see, and you can tell if you've ever had the virus. So if you've had a bad cold or something, and you were wondering if you might have had it, and this will tell you.
All right. It is the Lameville Fire Department,
October 24th.
October 24th. Auction starts about 6.
Starts at 11 that morning and goes, they're having their street dance, they're doing the whole thing. So, the auction starts usually around 6 o'clock and then,
Okay.
or however long it takes.
I'm going to pay the bills.
Second. All those in favor? All those opposed, motion passes. I move adjourned.
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkendall, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Wayne, you and David come.
Yes, sir.